Onions. They sit in almost every kitchen on the planet. You slice them, you dice them, you toss them into a hot pan. The sizzle, the aroma. Within minutes, they turn golden and sweet. But what if that simple act of cooking is destroying something extraordinary? What if the very compounds that make onions one of the most powerful foods on earth disappear the moment they touch heat? Today, we are going to explore what really happens inside your body when you eat raw onions. Not cooked, not sauteed, raw. And by the end of this video, you might think twice about how you have been eating them your entire life. Now, before we begin, a quick note. If you have specific digestive conditions, it is always wise to check with your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet. With that said, let us dive into the science. Here is something most people do not realize. When you cook an onion, you are not just changing its taste. You are not just making it softer or sweeter. You are fundamentally changing what it can do for your body. Raw onions contain powerful sulfur compounds. These are the chemicals that make your eyes water when you cut them. They form through a natural reaction that happens the moment a knife breaks through the onion's cells. Enzymes mix with other compounds, and within seconds, new substances are created. These sulfur compounds are responsible for many of the health benefits we will discuss today. They protect your heart. They fight bacteria. They reduce inflammation throughout your body. But here is the problem. They are extremely sensitive to heat. Research shows that after just 3 to 6 minutes of steaming, the ability of onions to prevent blood clots is completely destroyed, not reduced, not weakened, destroyed. Think about that for a moment. Just a few minutes of cooking, and one of the most important benefits of onions is gone. Vitamin C, which onions contain in good amounts, drops significantly when exposed to high temperatures. The longer you cook, the more you lose. Some studies suggest you can lose more than half of the vitamin C content through cooking. Boiling is even worse. When you boil onions, the beneficial compounds leach out into the water. They dissolve and escape. Unless you are drinking that cooking water, those nutrients go straight down the drain. Even the antioxidants in onions are affected by cooking. While some remain after heat exposure, raw onions deliver them in a form your body can absorb more easily. Now, this does not mean cooked onions are worthless. They still contain fiber and some minerals. Cooked onions are easier to digest for some people. There is nothing wrong with enjoying cooked onions. But if you want the full power of what onions can offer, eating them raw is simply in a different category. Let me show you exactly what I mean. Let us start with your heart. Your cardiovascular system is a complex network of blood vessels stretching tens of thousands of miles throughout your body. Keeping blood flowing smoothly through this network is essential for health. Raw onions contain compounds that help with exactly this. When you eat raw onions, those sulfur compounds enter your bloodstream. They help prevent your blood platelets from sticking together. Platelets are tiny cells that form clots when you cut yourself. That is useful for stopping bleeding. But when platelets clump together inside your blood vessels for no good reason, that is when problems begin. Blood clots inside vessels can block blood flow. When this happens in the arteries feeding your heart, you get a heart attack. When it happens in your brain, you get a stroke. Raw onions act as a natural blood thinner. They keep everything flowing smoothly. They help prevent these dangerous clots from forming in the first place. Studies on humans have shown that eating raw onions can help lower blood pressure. High blood pressure forces your heart to work harder and damages your blood vessel walls over time. By helping reduce blood pressure naturally, raw onions take some of that strain off your cardiovascular system. The compounds in raw onions also help reduce levels of bad cholesterol, the kind that builds up on artery walls. At the same time, they support good cholesterol, the kind that helps remove bad cholesterol from your bloodstream. But here is what makes this remarkable. These cardiovascular benefits are largely lost when you cook onions. The same research that showed raw onions prevent clotting found that cooked onions not only lost this ability, but in some cases actually had the opposite effect. This is why raw matters, and this is just the beginning. Something equally fascinating happens with your blood sugar. Millions of people around the world struggle with blood sugar control. Whether it is diabetes, prediabetes, or simply wanting to maintain stable energy throughout the day, blood sugar matters. When blood sugar spikes and crashes, you feel it. Fatigue, brain fog, cravings. Raw onions contain compounds that help your body process sugar more effectively. They work in several ways. First, they slow down how quickly sugar from your food enters your bloodstream. There are enzymes in your digestive system that break down sugars so they can be absorbed. Compounds in raw onions inhibit these enzymes. When you eat a meal with raw onions, the sugar absorption happens more gradually. This means fewer spikes and crashes, more stable, sustained energy. Second, they improve how your body responds to insulin. Insulin is the hormone that helps sugar move from your blood into your cells, where it can be used for energy. When this process works well, your blood sugar stays stable. Raw onions help your cells respond better to insulin's signal. Clinical studies have shown impressive results. In one study, people with type 1 diabetes who ate 100 grams of raw onion, about the size of a medium onion, saw their fasting blood sugar drop by 89 milligrams per deciliter. For people with type 2 diabetes, the reduction was 40 milligrams per deciliter. These are significant numbers. For context, many diabetes medications aim for similar reductions. Of course, this does not mean replacing your medicine with onions. Never change your medication without talking to your doctor. But it does show that raw onions can be a powerful addition to a blood sugar management plan. And this brings us to something that many people fear most: cancer. Now, no food can cure cancer. Anyone who tells you otherwise is not being honest. But what science has shown repeatedly is that certain foods are associated with lower cancer rates in large populations, and raw onions are high on that list. Large studies from Italy and Switzerland followed thousands of people over many years. They tracked what people ate and whether they developed cancer. The researchers controlled for other factors like smoking, exercise, and family history. The results were striking. People who ate the most onions had an 84% lower risk of cancers of the mouth and throat compared to those who ate the least. The risk of esophageal cancer was 88% lower. Colorectal cancer risk was 56% lower. Ovarian cancer risk was 73% lower. Prostate cancer risk was 71% lower in high onion consumers. These are not small differences. These are dramatic reductions in risk. How does this work? Onions, especially raw onions, contain powerful antioxidants. The most important one is called quercetin. Onions are one of the richest food sources of quercetin that exist, and quercetin helps protect your cells from damage. Every day your cells face threats, toxins from the environment, byproducts of normal metabolism. These create unstable molecules that damage cell structures, including DNA. When DNA is damaged repeatedly over time, cells can start multiplying uncontrollably. That is cancer. Antioxidants like quercetin neutralize these harmful molecules before they can cause damage. They protect your cellular DNA. Healthy, protected cells are less likely to become cancerous. Raw onions also contain compounds that help your body eliminate harmful substances. Your liver is constantly working to detoxify your blood. Certain compounds in raw onions support this detoxification process. Red onions appear to be particularly effective. Research has shown that red onion extracts are especially good at stopping the growth of cancer cells in laboratory studies. The deep red color comes from additional antioxidant compounds. Again, eating onions is not a guarantee against cancer. But making them a regular part of your diet, especially raw, is a simple step that research suggests may offer real protection. And the list of conditions that raw onions may help prevent does not stop there. Inflammation is at the root of many chronic diseases. Arthritis, joint pain, and many other problems involve inflammation that will not go away. Raw onions have strong anti-inflammatory properties. The same compounds that protect your cells also help calm inflammation throughout your body. People who suffer from joint pain sometimes report improvement when they add raw onions to their diet regularly. Bacterial infections are another area where raw onions shine. The sulfur compounds in raw onions can kill harmful bacteria, including some strains that have become resistant to antibiotics. This does not mean onions replace antibiotics when you have a serious infection. But regularly eating raw onions may help your body fight off minor infections before they become serious. Bone health is something most people do not think about until there is a problem. But research on women, particularly those who have gone through menopause, shows that eating onions daily is associated with better bone density. Stronger bones mean lower risk of fractures as you age. Even brain health may benefit. Diets rich in the antioxidants found in onions have been linked to reduced risk of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. The same compounds that protect cells throughout your body also protect the neurons in your brain. But perhaps the most surprising benefit of raw onions is something almost nobody talks about: your gut. Inside your digestive system live trillions of bacteria. Trillions. This community of microorganisms is called your gut microbiome, and it affects far more than just digestion. These bacteria influence your immune system. About 70% of your immune cells are located in your gut. They affect your metabolism. They even communicate with your brain through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. Raw onions are one of the best foods you can eat for these bacteria. Here is why. Onions contain a special type of fiber called prebiotics. Your body cannot digest this fiber. It passes through your stomach and small intestine unchanged. But when it reaches your large intestine, something remarkable happens. The beneficial bacteria there feed on it. When these good bacteria are well fed, they multiply. They grow stronger. They crowd out harmful bacteria. And they produce substances that benefit your entire body. One of the most important things these bacteria produce are short-chain fatty acids. These compounds reduce inflammation throughout your body. They support your immune system. They help maintain the lining of your gut. A study published in 2024 found that onion extracts significantly changed the structure of the gut microbiome. They increased beneficial bacteria like bifidobacteria and lactobacillus. These are the same bacteria found in probiotic supplements that people pay good money for. Raw onions help them thrive naturally. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Your gut produces approximately 95% of your body's serotonin, not your brain. Your gut. Serotonin is a chemical messenger that regulates mood and sleep. Low serotonin is associated with depression and anxiety. When your gut bacteria are healthy, they support the production of serotonin and other feel-good chemicals. This is why some people report feeling different after adding raw onions to their diet regularly. Better mood, more energy, improved sleep. It is not imagination. It is not placebo. It is biology. The onion is literally feeding the bacteria that produce chemicals your brain needs to feel good. Now you understand what raw onions do inside your body. But let us be practical. How do you actually eat them without the downsides? First, choosing the right type of onion matters. Red onions have the highest levels of antioxidants and tend to have a milder, slightly sweeter flavor when eaten raw. They are an excellent choice for salads and sandwiches. Their beautiful purple color also makes dishes more visually appealing. Yellow onions are the most common variety and offer a good balance of flavor and nutrition. They have a stronger taste but are still perfectly edible raw. White onions are the mildest and easiest to digest. If you are new to eating raw onions, start here. Sweet onions like Vidalia or Walla Walla are specifically bred to be mild enough to eat raw. They have higher sugar content and lower sulfur compounds, making them gentler on your palate and stomach. And here is good news. Regular onions from any grocery store deliver these benefits. You do not need to buy expensive organic varieties. Second, how you prepare raw onions affects their power. After you cut an onion, let it sit for about 10 minutes before eating it. When you cut an onion, you start a chemical reaction. Enzymes are released and begin mixing with other compounds. If you wait 10 minutes, this reaction has time to complete fully. More beneficial compounds are formed. You get more benefit from the same amount of onion. Slice onions thinly. More surface area means more of these beneficial reactions can occur. Do not soak raw onions in water. Many people do this to reduce the strong taste, but it washes away the very nutrients you want to keep. Third, the question everyone asks. What about the breath? Raw onions can cause bad breath. This is the main reason many people avoid them, but there are simple ways to minimize this. Eat fresh parsley after eating raw onions. The chlorophyll in parsley helps neutralize the odor. This is why parsley often accompanies dishes with onion and garlic in restaurants. Chew a piece of apple. The natural enzymes and fiber in apples help freshen breath. Drink green tea. The antioxidants help eliminate odor-causing compounds. Rinse your mouth with diluted lemon water. The acidity helps neutralize odors. And if breath is a major concern, eat your raw onions at lunch rather than dinner. By bedtime, most of the odor will have passed. Your body metabolizes the sulfur compounds within several hours. Fourth, combining raw onions with other foods increases their benefits. Eat them with olive oil or avocado. The antioxidants in onions are better absorbed when consumed with healthy fats. Combine them with tomatoes or bell peppers. The vitamin C enhances the effects. Add them to salads. This is the easiest way to start eating raw onions regularly. Now a word about who should be careful. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, raw onions may cause bloating or gas. Start with small amounts and see how your body responds. If you have acid reflux, raw onions can sometimes trigger heartburn. Again, start small. If you are taking blood-thinning medications, talk to your doctor before significantly increasing raw onion intake. The natural blood-thinning effects could add to your medication. And if you are allergic to onions, which is rare but does happen, obviously avoid them. For everyone else, raw onions are safe and beneficial. So after everything we have explored today, what is the verdict? Raw onions are not just a flavoring. They are not just something that makes you cry in the kitchen. They are one of the most powerful foods you can add to your diet. They protect your heart by keeping blood flowing smoothly and preventing dangerous clots. They help control blood sugar, naturally supporting everyone from diabetics to people who simply want stable energy. They contain compounds associated with dramatically lower cancer risk. They fight inflammation and harmful bacteria. They strengthen your bones. And they feed the bacteria in your gut that produce chemicals your brain needs for mood and sleep. And most of these benefits require one thing: eating them raw. Think twice before you eat raw onions again, not because they are harmful, not because you should avoid them, but because once you understand what they do for your body, you will not want to miss out by cooking them. What surprised you most today? Was it the heart benefits, the blood sugar effects, the cancer research, or the connection between your gut and your brain? Let me know in the comments below. And if you know someone who always cooks their onions, share this video with them. They might be throwing away the best part without even knowing it. Subscribe to the channel to discover more secrets about the familiar foods in your kitchen. And if you enjoyed learning about onions, there is another vegetable in the same family with even more remarkable powers. That story is coming next. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.